Hello, everybody, and welcome to Good Life Vibes. I'm Alexandra, and today I will talk about what is the void of course moon and what if you are born on a void of course moon, because this void of course aspect it's pretty tricky. So first of all, what means the void of course moon is the brief astronomical period of time after the moon has made its last aspect in one sign before it enters the next sign. This means, for more clear, so to say, the moon makes no major aspects with any other planet. Minor aspects, pretty much likely, but when we talk about the moon, we focus mainly on the main aspect. So when the moon has no aspects with another planet, that's the void of course. And what does it mean specifically? Void of course means that if you start something during that period of time, you are sort of doomed and things can't turn to accomplish like you were thinking. And in general, you can have problems with the projects you start, or if you start a project, nothing happens and nothing comes to fruition. And you can go through bad planning, and it means that you can go through setbacks and delays. It's not like during a Mercury retrograde uh, transit when you have misunderstandings and there comes a lot of confusion. It's rather like you are followed by bad luck on a void of moon. So the point is, a void of moon has also a good part, because when it is a void of moon, we should let go of worldly concerns and focus more on introspection, relaxation, recreation, and it's like eating more, indulging yourself. So it's more about focusing on you and letting the world aside. The moon is the luminary. It's okay, the sun and moon are called luminaries. The sun is lightening the day, the moon is lightening the night, but people are not used to dive deep into astrological terms, so they call the sun and the moon planets as well. So I will use the term planet for the moon, although it's not astrologically correct, but humanly it's very much understandable. So, uh, I said, on a void of moon, the moon makes no aspects with another planet. If you start something on a void of moon, that's not very wise and not very good. You can go through setbacks and you can get a lot of delays, and in general postpone that activity. That's the best. Okay, one more thing. For instance, it was a time I had a webinar, and it was about something creating your future and very positive topic of a webinar. And the webinar had to start during a void of moon aspect. And there was a woman, and she was very aggressive, sort to say, and she was like, how can you do a webinar on a void of moon? What is in your head? And that. And I tried to explain. She didn't want to understand anything, but okay, I blocked her after this. But let me explain to you something. It matters the moment when you take the decision to do something. For instance, if you want to buy a plane ticket and the flight will be during a void of moon, that's acceptable. But it's not okay if you buy the ticket when is a void of moon. You want to buy a car. It's okay to pick up the car on a void of moon hour. But it's not okay to choose the car on a void of moon. So you see the difference. If you are planning ahead something, what mattered in my case was the hour when I took the decision to make the webinar, not when I made the announcement, not when the webinar started, but rather the hour when I decided to take the decision about the webinar. Okay? So that you have to focus on, not that the void of moon, the webinar is on and it will be a bad webinar. Not at all. It was a huge success, that webinar, with amazing results for the people. So I wanted to point out this because there are many people who choose not to live their life and not to do anything. Oh, it's a void of moon. It's a void of moon. And there are moments when there is a void of moon almost every other day, and there are moments when there are void of moons, moments that they last for hours and hours and hours. So keep in mind, that's a little secret. Don't bother if you do something on a void of moon if you planned that thing ahead. You should bother though if you spontaneously take a decision and you put it into practice immediately during a void of moon. That's the problem. Okay? So, what means to be born on a void of moon? And the moon, first of all, what does it represent? I said in this recording, the moon is the emotion. And Abraham Maslow wrote in 1943 a paper called The Theory of Human Motivation. And he made a sort of pyramid of physiological needs, because if you do not accomplish some physiological needs, you are doomed, you die. So in general, so he wrote a paper about the psychological needs, and on top it was the physiological needs. That is, like, you need air to breathe, and you need water, clean water, and you need food. So air, breathing, drinking clean water, and eating are the main things that matter and that give a possibility to a human to be alive. Then comes the safety needs, and the next category in the pyramid is the self-esteem needs. Okay, this paper was written in 1943, but what, from my point of view, matters after physiological needs, it's about emotional needs. The feelings, the emotions, the emotional behavior, and so on. So the moon is controlling exactly these emotional needs. The moon is focusing and driving us and directing us towards our emotional response to exterior stimulus. The way we emotionally react determines our our reactions in day-to-day life. Just think a little bit. If you are sad, you wake up sad, or you you prepare to work and somebody gives you bad news. Of course, if you are sad, you go into the sadness mood, you can't focus completely, you can't work completely focused there, having good results, having positive results. But when you have a positive attitude, the results are completely different. Or think about when you fall in love. All the world is yours, and if you get feedback from that person, you are in an amazing state when, okay, you don't want to work too much, and day-to-day life doesn't have too much priority for you, but how you feel and how you experience the day, it's amazing. It's absolutely, you have a fantastic uh, mood or fantastic vibe. Okay, so the moon is responsible with our emotional reactions. And on a chart, the moon symbolizes the essential emotional needs. And when you are when you have a normal like with aspects on a chart, it means you have an anchor. You have a trigger that triggers you, that's the aspect with the other planet. And you have a reaction to that trigger, feedback to that trigger. But when you are born on a void of moon course, you have no anchor whatsoever. So you have a sort of raw and primitive and animalic moon. It doesn't matter what star sign is the moon or what house is the moon located in your chart. What matters is that you do not have an anchor, hence your emotions are volatile. And it's like you feel more and you don't know to put the boundaries between your emotions and how you react to the world and the others. A normal moon with aspects knows how to create the boundaries, how to stop. If you know what triggers you in a negative way, you can block the trigger, or you can avoid the trigger, or at least you can work on controlling it. But or if you know what triggers you in a positive way, then focus on that and you give all the best out of you. But let's imagine when you are born with a void of course moon, it's like, let's imagine uh, you are walking on the street. A person with an aspected moon, that's usual kind of moon, you just know you have to reach your destination, and maybe you speak on the phone and you follow your path, and that's it. But if you are born on a void of course moon, not only that you have to focus on the destination, but also you are attentive to what happens around you. You hear the noise of a street, you hear the dog licking the water from a pond, you hear the leaves in a tree. It's like you are having distributive attention. It's exactly this kind of image. So people with void of moon course on their chart, birth chart of course, they're highly intuitive, highly sensitive, and you are like a radar to the environment. If you learn to control this, you can't cure, it's not a disease, first of all. You cannot cure, there is no treatment for this. It's you. You are like this, and we have to deal with you this way. If you learn not to succumb, not to be dominated, and not to be distracted by so much energetical noise around you. You can be an amazing therapist, you can be an amazing clairvoyant, you can be an amazing psychic because you are tuned to a higher level of perception and a higher level of cosmic energy. If you don't know to adapt to this, that's very upsetting because you will have a lot of emotions you can't control. Anyway, in both situations, if you control it or not, you are unpredictable, that's sure. But if you know to contain and to control this, you have this ability to heal and help and cure your human fellows. So, um, the void of moon birth, if you're born on void of course, it's sort of blessing if you know to work with it. And you have to learn methods to release the tension you accumulate, like swimming or walking or doing more sport or having a hobby, so to say. You need to release the energies you accumulate. While if you don't learn to cope with this kind of aspect on your chart, it can be very tiring and eating your energy. But if you cope, as I have said, you can have amazing results working with the people. So this is my insight about void of moon. And if you are born on a void of moon, I hope it will help you. And if you liked what I spoke here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And one more thing, I'm pretty sure people will, I forgot to say this, maybe you will ask yourself, okay, and how can I know if I'm born on a void of moon course? Well, you go to Google and you check void of moon and you put the date and the hour when you are born, and you will see if in the day when you were born, the moon was through a void of course. So online you can find this information. So thank you one more time and see you next time. Bye.